Ladies and gentlemen, hope is more than a fleeting feeling. It is the silent thread weaving through the tapestry of our lives. It whispers to the weary, there is more ahead, even when the road seems endlessly dark. An ambassador of hope understands this universal truth. While we may stumble in solitude, we rise in solidarity. This calling requires courage, not the absence of fear, but the audacity to believe in possibility when confronted with uncertainty. It demands that we look at the chaos of the world not with cynicism, but with compassion, embracing the potential for beauty and renewal in every moment. An ambassador of hope doesn't simply speak of it, they live it. Through their resilience in the face of challenges, their acts of kindness, and their unwavering belief in the power of humanity, they remind us all that hope is not a luxury but a necessity. Each of us carries within the capacity to be such an ambassador. Imagine the ripples we can create by choosing optimism over despair, action over apathy, and love over indifference. Like a stone cast into still waters, our hope has the power to extend far beyond our immediate reach, touching lives we may never know. So let us not wait for a perfect moment or a grand platform. Let us start now, here, with our small acts of hope, because in the end, it is these moments that transform the world. Thank you. Hope is an intrinsic part of the human experience, a phenomenon that transcends language, culture, and circumstance. It is not bound by geography or time. Instead, it flows through humanity like an invisible current, uniting us in our shared aspirations and dreams for a better existence. At its core, hope is a deeply universal language, one that requires no words to be understood. It resonates within us on a primal level, echoing through the vast array of human emotions, experiences, and connections. Despite the countless differences that define individuals and societies, hope is the thread that weaves us into a collective whole. From the bustling streets of a modern metropolis to the quiet corners of a remote village, the essence of hope is the same. It is the yearning for a brighter future, the belief that tomorrow holds the promise of something more, something better. In its universality, hope serves as a reminder of our common humanity. No matter the disparities in our lives, whether in wealth, culture, or opportunity, hope is the great equalizer. It reminds us that at our most fundamental level, we are beings driven by the desire to overcome challenges, to heal wounds, and to create lives filled with meaning and joy. Hope often reveals itself in the simplest of gestures and moments. A parent gazing into the eyes of their child sees a future yet unwritten, a canvas of endless possibilities. A student striving to learn against all odds carries within them the belief that knowledge can unlock doors to a better world. A farmer planting seeds in the soil trusts that the earth will yield sustenance, even in the face of unpredictable seasons. These instances, though varied in their expression, are rooted in the same language of hope, a language that needs no translation, because it speaks directly to the soul. What makes hope so extraordinary is its ability to bridge divides that might otherwise seem insurmountable. In times of crisis, when communities are ravaged by natural disasters, conflicts, or pandemics, hope often emerges as the unifying force that rallies people together. Strangers extend hands to help one another, driven not by obligation but by the shared belief in rebuilding and renewal. In such moments, hope becomes a collective voice, louder and more profound than any single individual's despair. It transcends the limitations of spoken language, proving that it is the unspoken belief in a better future that binds us together. Even in silence, hope communicates. It is in the determined eyes of someone fighting against injustice, in the soft smile of a person recovering from loss, and in the steady hand of a caregiver tending to the sick. It is an energy, an essence that permeates every aspect of our being. Hope speaks when words fail, and it connects us when barriers arise. It is a force that reminds us that, despite the diversity of our experiences, we are united by a common thread, the need to believe in something greater than our current circumstances. The universality of hope also lies in its adaptability. Hope does not take a singular form, it molds itself to fit the unique contours of each person's life. For some, it may be a quiet, steadfast belief in their ability to overcome adversity. For others, it may manifest as a vibrant, vocal expression of optimism. Hope can be found in the small, personal victories as well as in the grand, collective movements that reshape societies. It is as much in the artist's brushstroke as in the scientist's discovery. In this way, hope is deeply personal, yet inherently communal, a paradox that highlights its profound reach. Hope's universal nature is further evidenced in the stories we tell and the myths we create. Across cultures and epochs, tales of triumph over adversity, of light emerging from darkness, have been passed down through generations. These narratives, though diverse in detail, share a common thread: the belief in renewal, redemption, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Whether it is the phoenix rising from its ashes or a hero embarking on a transformative journey, these stories reflect the shared language of hope that resonates within us all. They are reminders that despite the challenges we face, hope persists as a beacon guiding us forward. In the modern world, where technology connects us instantaneously across vast distances, the universality of hope becomes even more apparent. Social media, for instance, often serves as a platform for people to share stories of resilience, inspiration, and achievement. A single act of kindness or a tale of perseverance can ripple across the globe, touching hearts and sparking hope in places far removed from the original act. This interconnectedness amplifies the reach of hope, demonstrating that it knows no borders and respects no boundaries. Even in moments of solitude, hope is present, bridging the gap between the individual and the collective. It is what allows us to empathize with the struggles of others and to find solace in their triumphs. When we see someone rise above their circumstances, it ignites a spark within us, a reminder that we too are capable of resilience and growth. This shared experience of hope, though deeply personal, is what unites us as a global community, transcending the differences that might otherwise divide us. Hope, as a universal language, speaks to the essence of what it means to be human. It is the common ground on which we stand, the unseen force that binds us in our shared journey through life. Though we may speak in different tongues and live vastly different lives, hope is the one language we all understand, a language of possibility, belief, and an enduring faith in the promise of tomorrow. Hope, in its essence, embodies a paradox. It is both fragile and resilient. It is a delicate, vulnerable force, easily crushed by despair, yet it is also one of the most enduring qualities of the human spirit. This paradoxical nature of hope is what makes it so powerful, and yet so elusive. In times of overwhelming difficulty, when the weight of the world feels unbearable, hope can seem like a fragile, flickering flame, threatened by the winds of adversity. Yet, when nurtured, that same flame can grow into an unshakable force that pushes individuals and communities to persevere in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. The fragility of hope is apparent in moments of intense loss or hardship. When facing personal tragedy, societal collapse, or existential uncertainty, the instinctive reaction can often be despair, a sense of hopelessness that clouds every possibility of a positive future. During such moments, hope feels like an unreachable concept, a distant ideal that no longer seems relevant. It can vanish in an instant, leaving behind a void that seems impossible to fill. Yet this is where hope's paradox becomes clear. Despite its apparent fragility, it is precisely during such dark times that hope has the potential to be reborn, often from the most unlikely of sources. The fragility of hope is reflected in its dependence on perception. The way we view our circumstances can either nurture or destroy hope. If we choose to focus on the overwhelming nature of the challenges before us, hope can feel like a fleeting mirage that disappears as soon as we approach it. But when we shift our perspective, when we allow ourselves to see beyond the immediate obstacles, hope begins to take root. In this way, hope is not fixed, it is shaped by the mind's ability to envision a different, better future. When we allow ourselves to reimagine possibilities, no matter how small or distant they seem, hope can begin to grow again. Despite its fragility, however, hope is one of the most resilient forces in human existence. It is remarkable how, even in the most dire of circumstances, hope has the capacity to reappear, often when we least expect it. History is filled with examples of individuals and communities who have endured the harshest of conditions, only to emerge stronger, more hopeful, and more determined than before. The resilience of hope is what allows individuals to survive not only the challenges they face, but also the psychological toll of those challenges. When all else seems lost, hope continues to persist, like a quiet, inner voice that refuses to be silenced, urging us to keep moving forward. This resilience can be seen in the stories of those who, despite suffering unimaginable loss or hardship, find a way to rebuild and renew. It is present in the courage of those who rise from the ashes of disaster, who choose to rebuild their homes and lives in the wake of tragedy. It is reflected in the hearts of those who, after experiencing profound loss, continue to love and live with an openness that is perhaps even more profound than before. Hope is the quiet force that sustains them, even when the world around them seems irreparably broken. Hope's resilience is also evident in the way it spreads and grows. Just as a single flame can ignite an entire forest, a single act of hope can inspire a wave of change. One person's belief in a better future can ripple outward, touching countless lives in ways that are often unseen. In this sense, hope is not a solitary emotion, but a communal force that binds us together. The resilience of hope lies not only in the individual's ability to overcome hardship, but also in the collective power of human beings to support one another, to lift each other up in times of darkness. The resilience of hope is also tied to its capacity for renewal. Even when it seems extinguished, hope has a remarkable ability to regenerate. This regeneration is often born out of the smallest of actions, the first sign of spring after a long winter, the first breath of fresh air after a storm. Hope is renewed not by grand gestures, but by the quiet moments of recovery and growth that accumulate over time. Just as nature heals itself after a disaster, so too does the human spirit, drawing strength from the smallest acts of renewal. Hope's paradoxical nature is also reflected in the balance between expectation and acceptance. Hope, when unbalanced, can lead to disillusionment. If our expectations are too high, or if we hold on to an idealized version of the future, hope can quickly turn to bitterness when things do not turn out as we expect. Yet when hope is tempered with acceptance, that is, an acceptance of the present reality, while holding on to the belief that change is possible, it becomes an incredibly resilient force. In this way, hope is not about denial or wishful thinking, but about the courage to accept the present and the resolve to continue working towards something better. This delicate balance between fragility and resilience is what makes hope so deeply human. It is in our nature to falter, to feel overwhelmed, and to experience moments of despair. But it is equally in our nature to rise, to rebuild, and to believe in something greater than ourselves. The fragile flicker of hope may be easily obscured by the shadows of difficulty, but even in the deepest darkness, it has the potential to re-emerge, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. An ambassador of hope is not merely a bearer of words or a messenger of optimism. They are, in fact, the embodiment of hope itself. They do not just speak about hope, but live it through every action, every choice, and every relationship. The role of an ambassador of hope is more profound than it may initially appear, for it is not only about inspiring others to believe in a better future, but also about demonstrating through their very being that hope is not an abstract concept, but a force that can be manifested in the everyday realities of life. Their presence is a living testament to the power of resilience, the belief in possibility, and the transformative effect of kindness and compassion. An ambassador of hope is someone who understands that their actions speak louder than any words could. They recognize that in times of darkness, people are often not looking for eloquent speeches or grand promises, but for tangible signs that hope is alive. It is in the way they show up for others, offering not just words of encouragement, but real, actionable support. When a person is struggling with loss, fear, or uncertainty, the ambassador of hope does not simply tell them, "Everything will be fine," but instead offers their time, their presence, and their empathy. They help to rebuild, not just through material support, but through the renewal of the spirit. Their actions serve as proof that hope is not just something we feel, but something we do, something that can be cultivated and nurtured in even the most challenging of circumstances. An ambassador of hope understands that sometimes simply being there is enough. There are moments in life when no amount of advice or solutions can heal the wounds of the heart or mind. In these instances, the greatest gift an ambassador of hope can offer is their presence. This presence is not one of pity or superficial comfort, but one of solidarity. The ambassador of hope stands beside others, not above them, in their struggles. They offer a listening ear, a warm embrace, or a simple act of kindness that reminds the person suffering that they are not alone. By doing so, they create a space where hope can begin to take root again. It is in the simple gestures, the quiet acts of compassion, that the true power of hope is revealed. An ambassador of hope also understands the power of belief. Hope is often most needed when belief in a positive outcome is hardest to hold on to. In moments of despair, it can be difficult to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and many may question whether change is even possible. The ambassador of hope, however, believes deeply in the potential for transformation. They know that hope is not just about expecting things to get better, but about maintaining the belief that with effort, commitment, and support, positive change is possible. This belief is not blind optimism, but a conviction that, despite the setbacks, the future holds possibilities that can be realized through action. The ambassador of hope's unwavering belief in the future serves as a reminder to others that hope is not a passive emotion, but an active force that propels us forward. Hope, as embodied by an ambassador, is also about connection. One of the most profound aspects of hope is its ability to bring people together. An ambassador of hope does not only offer hope to individuals, but they also foster a sense of community and shared purpose. They create spaces where people can come together not just to grieve or lament, but to work together toward solutions. They understand that hope is most powerful when it is shared, when it is passed from one person to another like a flame that never diminishes but only grows brighter as it spreads. The ambassador of hope works to build communities of support, where each person feels valued, heard, and empowered. By doing so, they help to create a collective energy of hope that can transform not only individuals but entire communities. The ambassador of hope also recognizes the importance of vision. Hope is inherently tied to the ability to envision a better future, and an ambassador of hope understands that this vision is what sustains individuals and groups in times of struggle. They are visionaries, but not in the sense of lofty ideals or unattainable dreams. Rather, they have the ability to see the potential for change, even in the most difficult situations. They envision a world where healing is possible, where justice can prevail, where communities can thrive. This vision is not simply about imagining a better future, but about taking the necessary steps to make that vision a reality. The ambassador of hope works tirelessly, often behind the scenes, to turn their vision into action, creating opportunities for others to join in the work of transformation. Through their leadership, others are inspired to take up the mantle of hope, contributing their own energy, skills, and talents to the shared goal. At the heart of an ambassador of hope's role is a deep and abiding belief in the inherent goodness of humanity. They understand that, even in the face of cruelty, indifference, and suffering, the human spirit is capable of immense strength and kindness. They do not deny the darkness in the world, but they choose to focus on the light. They believe in the capacity for growth, redemption, and change. Their faith in humanity is not naive, rather, it is grounded in the understanding that while human beings are fallible, we are also capable of extraordinary acts of love, compassion, and resilience. It is this belief that drives them to continue, even when the road seems long and the challenges insurmountable. In this way, the ambassador of hope serves as both a guide and a companion. They do not stand apart from those they seek to inspire. They walk alongside them, offering their strength, belief, and compassion. Through their example, they show others that hope is not something that is given or received, but something that is created together. In this shared journey, hope becomes not just a destination, but a process, a way of living, and a way of being that has the power to transform the world. To hope is an act of courage. It requires a leap into the unknown, a willingness to trust in something beyond the immediate grasp of our senses and experiences. In the face of uncertainty, when the future is unclear, to choose hope is to take a stand. It is to reject despair, to resist the allure of giving up, and to boldly step forward, despite the absence of guarantees. Hope in its purest form asks us to believe in a reality that has yet to unfold, and to trust that, even in the most challenging of circumstances, a better future is possible. This is not an act of mere optimism or wishful thinking, but of profound courage, a courage that empowers us to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead is unmarked and filled with obstacles. The courage to hope is, In many ways, the courage to confront fear head-on. Fear is often the greatest obstacle to hope. It manifests in various forms: the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being enough, and perhaps most powerfully, the fear of the unknown. When faced with these fears, it can be all too easy to succumb to a sense of helplessness, to retreat into the safety of the known and the familiar, and to abandon the belief that things could ever change. But the act of hoping demands that we step outside of these fears. It asks us to confront our vulnerabilities, to face the darkness without knowing exactly what lies ahead, and to continue forward despite the uncertainty. It is in this confrontation with fear that true courage is found. Hope, in this sense, is not a passive state, but an active decision. It is a decision to not be paralyzed by fear or overwhelmed by the weight of challenges. The act of hoping is a conscious choice to hold on to the belief that change is possible, that even in moments of despair there is room for growth, healing, and transformation. It is a decision to reject the notion that the present is all there is, and to trust in the potential for something better, something greater to emerge. This decision requires strength, resilience, and a deep faith in oneself and in the possibility of the future. In many ways, hope is a rebellion against the status quo. It is the willingness to believe in something better, even when the world seems to present overwhelming evidence to the contrary. This act of rebellion is not about denying the harshness of reality or turning a blind eye to the difficulties we face. Instead, it is about acknowledging these difficulties and choosing, despite them, to believe in a reality that is yet to be. It is about looking at the pain, suffering, and injustice in the world and refusing to accept them as the final word. Hope asks us to imagine something different, to envision a world where suffering is alleviated, where wounds are healed, and where we as individuals and communities can rise above the challenges we face. It is the courage to believe that change is not only possible, but that it is worth striving for, no matter how long it may take. Hope is also the courage to persist in the face of failure. The path to change and transformation is rarely a straight line. It is often filled with setbacks, disappointments, and moments of doubt. The pursuit of hope requires the resilience to rise again after each fall, to keep moving forward even when it feels as though progress is slow or non-existent. It is easy to become discouraged when the outcome we hope for remains distant, when our efforts seem futile, and when others around us may begin to lose faith. But it is precisely in these moments of struggle that hope reveals its true power. To hope is to continue when everything inside you is telling you to give up, to keep pushing forward even when the way ahead is unclear, and to trust that persistence will eventually lead to change. This form of courage is not about triumphing in the moment, but about staying committed to the long-term vision, knowing that hope is a marathon, not a sprint. Furthermore, the courage to hope extends beyond the individual. When we choose to hope, we are also choosing to invest in the well-being of others. Hope is inherently social, for it is not merely about our own personal future, but about the future of the communities and the world around us. To hope for ourselves is to hope for those who are struggling, those who are suffering, and those who are marginalized. The act of hoping becomes an act of solidarity, a recognition that we are all connected, and that the better future we hope for is one that must be built together. The courage to hope, therefore, is the courage to believe not only in our own potential, but in the potential of humanity as a whole. It is the courage to invest in the possibility that together we can create a world that reflects the best of what we are capable of, a world rooted in compassion, justice, and equity. In this collective sense, the courage to hope is also about challenging systems and structures that perpetuate inequality, oppression, and suffering. It takes courage to stand up against the status quo, to challenge societal norms, and to question institutions that seem immovable. To hope for a better world is to actively work to dismantle the systems that contribute to division and suffering. This type of courage requires vision and the willingness to disrupt existing power dynamics. It calls us to advocate for those who are silenced, to fight for justice in the face of adversity, and to hold on to the belief that societal change, no matter how difficult, is within our reach. Hope in this context is not simply about waiting for change to occur, but about being an active participant in the process of transformation. The courage to hope is also linked to the courage to be vulnerable. In order to hope, we must allow ourselves to be open to the possibility of disappointment. To hope is to put our hearts on the line, to invest emotionally in the belief that things can improve, even when we have experienced setbacks or pain in the past. This vulnerability is often difficult because it exposes us to the risk of failure or heartbreak. Yet it is this very vulnerability that makes hope so powerful. It is through our willingness to be vulnerable that we open ourselves to the fullness of life, the possibility of joy, of connection, and of meaningful change. The courage to hope, therefore, is the courage to embrace vulnerability, to remain open to the possibility that even in the face of loss or hurt, there is always the potential for renewal. In the face of adversity, to hope is a radical act of courage. It is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. It is the strength to continue, to persist, and to fight for the possibility of a better world, no matter how long it may take. Hope demands that we be brave, that we challenge the status quo, and that we invest in the collective well-being of all. To hope is to take a leap into the unknown, trusting that, even in the face of uncertainty, something better awaits on the horizon.